not showing up.
Okay, well that's awesome. Supposed to have somebody looking into this. 4, 3, 2, 1. Skip ads.
There we are.
Oh my. Okay. Well, what's it say? Done.
Hi.
Wow, there's like a 7-second delay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, it's got one person in it. It says there's somebody else. I don't know who the other one was, but I guess they decided to leave.
Well, technical difficulties.
How about idiotic difficulties? How about
Hey.
idiocy? How about I don't know what I'm doing on live, and well, so be it. Okay, well, the other part of this is people are going to see it. I'm going to leave it on
Yeah.
the channel.
Oh,
If we get
absolutely.
anybody else to show up. But
Not, they can
nonetheless,
watch it later.
that is true. So if you're just now tuning in, fast forward to, I don't know, intense conversation. All right, I'm Becky.
No, you're not.
I'm
I
Chuck.
am.
This is Becky, and we are Faith's Win, and this is our first live stream because we're celebrating 1,000 subscribers, which is huge for us because I swore I'd never get past 100. And if you guys remember, I did this really cool dance at 100 subscribers, and then some of you were like, "Well, it was fun. Do some more."
I was
I don't know.
impressed.
I was wore out. It about killed me. So, nonetheless, we are celebrating 1,000 subscribers. I want to thank everybody for subscribing. You guys are the reason we're back. You guys are the reason we're going to continue on. And you guys are the reason for a lot of other things. But, nonetheless, we appreciate it. For those who are coming in or those who went, somebody came in and left again. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if I was naked.
There.
Or maybe if I was dancing.
Dance.
Wiggy, wiggy. No. So, there goes those awesome dance moves again. So, anyway, we got a couple things lined up for the live stream. I think I want to shoot for a 30-minute stream. I'm not sure how. Here we go. I am Chuck. This is Becky. And Face Wind is the name of the boat. We bought her about 12 years ago, 13 years ago. 13 years ago we bought her. And we spent a little bit of time on it and took off. And we lived aboard on the ocean at anchor for about, I don't know, a year and a half, almost 2 years,
almost 2
something like
years.
that. Off and on, we've been on the boat for the whole time. There's been a couple of years we've had to leave for family issues and whatnot, but you know, either way, we just kept coming back to her, so it is home. With that said, when my oldest son, or well, when my son and my youngest daughter got old enough to get jobs, we tied ourselves to a dock. And we've been at this dock for about 6 years now.
As Doc Divas.
As Dock Divas for about 6 years now. And yeah, we're tired of it. We're tired of it. We are not on the boat currently right this second. As you can tell, it's not a boat. Although it might look like the inside of a work boat or whatever. But this is actually, we're at my dad's place. We bought him a place in a 55 plus community, and I use the work shed for all my wood stuff. You can see some of the stuff back here behind us. And we get a lot of projects such as, here's a mallet I made, walnut and maple. It has stuff all over it. Okay, well that's probably not good. But anyway, that's a hammer I made here at the workshop so I could do a lot of woodworking stuff. When we tied up to the dock about 6 years ago, we expected to be here a couple of years, and that was it. Kids got older, kids got jobs, kids got their own place. Colleen, she went off to school, and we were alone. And after we were alone, we hit 50 years old. I know we only look like 20. I get it. She looks 20. I look 80. But at 50 years old, we decided, you know what? It is time to go sailing. It's time to go do what we wanted to do in the boat. It's time to go see the world. So that's what we're going to do. As of, I don't know, we were shooting for March 1st. It's just, yeah, it's not going to happen.
Project list was a little long.
There's a lot to it. My goodness, there's 72 things I think on my list currently, and another 3,000, 2,500,
2,500.
about $2,500 worth of stuff that I haven't bought yet. That has to be bought and purchased and put in and installed and fixed and whatever.
Fun.
Yeah, lots to do. So nonetheless, we are shooting for April 2nd. So you will see a lot of things, fix-it-ups, discussions on what we might do or might not do, things like that coming up in the channel along the way. So other than that, we are going to anchor out at Crystal River Bay out here. We're, close to my dad for a little bit. By a little bit, I mean a few months, maybe 2 to 3 months. And we need to get the kinks out of,
Get back
open the
into
sales.
groove of things.
Yeah, get back in the groove of things. Open the sales, get the kinks out, do a couple weekend trips, week-long trips, and just get used to sailing again. I need to be on the water. I know.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long while. We want to see the world, and there's so much that
One beach at a time.
there's so much that I got left in me. I've lost 135 pounds, and I feel like I'm 20 again, bouncing around the boat, doing all kinds of cool stuff that I haven't been able to do in quite a number of years.
Since we moved to Florida.
Yeah, so to be able to go and enjoy the world has always been our dream together. Gosh, for a long time. And that's just what we're going to do. So you guys are going to be a part of that, which is great. I can't wait. Just this. Either way. Now, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to go over notes. If you ever do a live stream, have notes, because dead air time is dead. Dead.
Can't get it back.
Right. Who are we? We are high school sweethearts. We met in your junior year?
1986.
1986. Yeah, that's been a long while ago. But I knew then that she was gullible, so I took advantage of that. What's really funny is, here I thought I was the man. I found the woman of my dreams, and I was making her mine, and I was, bam, and became a born-again Christian, realized God was the one planning and doing all that, and went, wow, I guess I wasn't as good as I thought I was. Nonetheless, so we've been together for over 30 years. It's been amazing. We've had a great time. We got 4 kids. My oldest daughter is 31. I don't know. The second daughter is 28.
Yes.
And then kind of
24 and
24,
21.
and then my son is 21, and they are all doing fantastic. My 2 older girls are married with children of their own. My youngest,
grandbabies.
and we have 5 grandbabies, 4 girls and a boy, and in that order, and they're doing fantastic. They're married to 2 amazing men who are family oriented and commitment oriented, and they're just fantastic men, and I'm blessed to have them in our life.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's basically who we are, where we come from. You'll notice that we are very comfortable with one another, and that's all why. We've been together for a very long time. Let's talk about where we've been. Now, I know some of you might have questions later on about why I took a 2-year break, or what was going on during that 2 years. I'm gonna be honest with you, I quit. I was doing this for we were trying to hit it really hard.
You were a little busy.
And yeah, it was obviously YouTube. When you start out at YouTube for a long time, I mean, unless you're PewDiePie or somebody, or Bobby Duke with the amazing, oh look, I have nothing. Oh look, it's a jewel. Yeah, Bobby, I love you, brother, but man, how do you do that stuff? Anyway, so we all can't be like that. So it takes time, and it takes a lot to do, and hopefully you guys will help us build that community along the way. I don't even know where I was going with it.
I don't know. You were talking about where we've been.
So I took a job as a chaplain because, okay, so I'm going to tell a story because we got time, right?
Right.
Here's a great little story. I am an ordained pastor. I was not in a congregation. I didn't have a church at the time, and I got this phone call from a friend of mine. Said, "Hey, I need help." Now, here's the interesting thing about me. I didn't want a job. We were doing fine. I got, pay coming in every month, and we were doing okay. It was fine. It was great. And I didn't want a job. And he called and he said, he gave me the H word. Now, anybody who knows me know the H word gets me in a lot of trouble. And I'm talking about help. When somebody needs help, it's a fault, I think. I have to go help them. So I said, okay, what do you need? And he said, well, we need somebody to help me I need you to help me with the chapel for a couple weeks, just to, get things rolling, maybe a month or two, and get things rolling back. He fell behind. It's a lot. The prison had about 400 people in it, and they ran over half of those through that chapel a week. It was a very busy place. So I found out later, way more busy than I wanted it to be. But I said, you know what? I'll come out and help you out. It's no problem. He calls me up a few weeks later and he says, here's the paperwork, fill this out. I said, sure, no problem. And he said, called me a couple days after that and said, hey, why don't you come down and talk to us about, how we're going to start, what we're going to do. I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I go down there in jeans and a t-shirt. They're lucky I had jeans on, actually, because on the boat, I usually wore shorts.
You didn't even own jeans.
No, I didn't. At the time, I didn't own any pants. I think I had one pair, so I wore that pair of jeans that day. And lucky me, because when I got there was a panel of men and one woman, and they were there to interview me for the chaplain position, of which we were supposed to talk about. So here we are doing this interview, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I roll up my sleeves, bring them at me, let's go. I got it. And they asked me all these really awesome questions. I don't know what they were. I don't know what my answers were. I don't know where it went from there, or where it was going from there. I didn't know anything. They said, well, call you in a few months. Okay, sure, no problem. Next day, hey, Chuck, can you start on so and such a date, which was like 3 days later or whatever.
It's supposed to be 2 days a week.
Yeah, it's supposed to be it was
20 hours.
It was 20 hours, 2 days a week, whatever. I said, yeah, no problem. So we get there. I was there a month, and they decided to put that part-time position from a 2-day a week to a full-time 40-hour a week position. And I was like, well, I didn't want a 20-hour a week job. What makes you think I want a 40-hour a week job? So, okay, fine, 40 hours a week. My boss / great friend of mine said, so what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to go to work. What do you mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to walk out on you, man. I'm done. No, I'm going to go to work. So that's what I did. I worked a 40-hour week, and it took a lot, because I had to learn. There was a lot in a chaplaincy that you have to learn that you don't have to learn when you're a standard pastor. Meaning, if I'm a Baptist preacher, a Baptist pastor, a Baptist minister, I don't necessarily have to have any information whatsoever on Catholicism, per se. They're two different things. They're completely different. And I didn't have to have that information. However, as a chaplain, I have to recognize all forms of religion. And now, I didn't have a problem with that. So, however, I didn't know about them. I mean, if you've not heard of Odinism,
he came home with some crazy ones.
It's a thing. They worship Thor as in the god of thunder, as in
deity.
A deity. And it's weird for me, but that's just who I am. But nonetheless, I have to be able to minister to them in that light. So I have to learn about their religions, so I had a lot of learning to do. So it took up a lot of time. Ended up being there for over 1.5 years in that position. And about 7 months into it, my boss / great friend of mine had a banger of a heart attack. And when he had his heart attack, it was, gosh.
It was very sudden.
Yeah, it was right away. I mean, they put him in the hospital. They said, okay, we got to do surgery. Ended up getting a quadruple bypass on it. And he was out for 3 or 4 months. He was out for 3 solid months and then in and out for the 4th month. So he basically wasn't there at all. So it was, hey, Chuck, you've been here 6 months. Here's the chapel. Okay, great. Well, as Chuck does, he took over and
You did great.
I must have done great. They didn't throw me out.
That's right.
So nonetheless, I just kicked the camera. Sorry about that. So nonetheless, we had a really interesting time at the chapel, and I learned more going through that ministry than in my entire Christian walk of 20 years. It was amazing. So it consumed me though. I went on to do something else after that that didn't work out, and I ended up resigning there or from that, from that position. But it consumed me. It took all my time, everything I could do. And as I said, YouTube at the time, while that happened, the pandemic happened in 2020. And don't demonetize me, YouTube. I need my 14 cents. So, but it happened nonetheless. And when that happened, it changed a lot of things, and it locked the prison down. And when all that happened, I started to realize that, that's when we turned 50, and I realized actually
There's more to life than this.
yeah, truth be told, we sat down and we were talking about it. My wife looked me dead in my face, and I kid you not, and she said, I thought you just didn't want to do this with me anymore. Oh. Needless to say, it turned me inside out. I resigned the next day, and during that time, outdoors things became very popular. Well, apparently, a lot of heavier folks, like myself, decided they wanted to go do things besides sit around the couch, which is interesting because that's how we got that way to begin with. But nonetheless, and a couple of my videos became very popular. I mean, good grief, the one's got 71,000.
Quit bragging.
Was that? Did I drop? I think I dropped the number there.
But yes.
Oh, look, there it is, 71,000. Anyway, so nonetheless, if I would have monetized it, if I was able to monetize it back then, I would have made a couple dollars at it. So we looked at that amongst others, and then I started looking at all the comments. Like I said in the one video, the comeback video, as it were. You guys literally have been awesome through the whole thing, and we decided, you know what? It just goes along with everything we want to do now, and there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
So thanks, we're back. Thanks for the work, appreciate it. So nonetheless, because doing something and filming doing something are day and night. It's two totally different things. Wow, we're at 18 minutes.
I know.
Now granted, the first 3 minutes of that is probably, I don't even know what they look like. Probably just looked at a regular screen, didn't see anything.
I don't know.
But nonetheless, we're at 18 minutes. That's awesome.
10 minutes.
Of course, we're at 18 minutes. I think on here you're at like 16 minutes. But nonetheless, future me says hi. Anyway, so yeah, we are going to be doing a lot of projects. So the next things coming up for the channel are just that. We're going to be doing a whole lot of projects, a whole lot of things that need fixed. I'm going back up the mast. I got like 5 projects to do going back up the mast, which is really fun because I'm going to, show everybody how I go up a mast by myself. Nah, I digress. Not by myself. Becky's got a line and ties it off every now
Oh, I
and
do
then.
the safety.
Yeah, well, hey, I'll take it. If I'm falling,
Yeah,
I'm going to
that's
need her.
true.
So if she's there to catch me if I fall, per se. And that's
No
just,
pun intended.
yeah, no pun intended. So I've been practicing on my rope skills and all that good stuff and getting ready, just getting the kinks out on that. And you guys are that's just some of the stuff. I got content coming up. And then the next video we're going to do, the one that I'm doing for next week, is, I had mentioned before, I lost 134 pounds, roughly. Up and down a little bit, but 134 pounds. And
I'll show them the picture to be a spoiler.
I was going to show this.
No.
She said no, you can't see them.
Next week, tune in. See the
There
before
you
and
go.
after pictures.
There you go. I'll have a before and after picture next week. And yeah, roughly 135 pounds. I was a big boy. I got big. And I'm going to walk through how I lost that weight over a long period of time, because it wasn't
I'll try not to put my input in too much.
actually, I came home and I said, I'm done. And I'll tell the story in the video, but I came home and I said, I'm done. and Becky had went, here's what we're doing. I said, oh, okay, and I listened, and well, 135
And
pounds
you did
later.
it.
So,
Finally.
and I did do it.
After 30-something years.
I finally did it. But nonetheless, so that's one of the big videos coming up. Then let's see what else I got. I closed my app. Boop.
Where we're going.
Yeah, of course, when we get moving and doing all that, you'll see a bunch of sailing stuff. You'll see a whole lot of kayaking and fishing stuff.
Beaches.
Give us time though, because we got a lot beaches and shelling and all that stuff you do on a sailboat. But give us time because, like I said, I have a lot to do, and we have to match our content to our page and make sure it fits the page and our lifestyle. And I don't go too far outside of that. And
Well, one note is when we lived on the boat at Anchor before, we had one kayak.
that's
now
true.
we have two. So now we can go do things on the
Actually,
kayak.
we-
Well, yeah, but we'll have to.
But I'll be selling one. So hey, if you're looking to buy a kayak, comment down below. So nonetheless, yeah. Also, if you guys watched my last video, you saw I use a hookah system to dive with. I use a hookah system to dive with because when you're out in other countries and it's hard to get your air tanks to be filled up. Not that you can't, but it's more challenging as to where my hookah system allows me to dive just as deep, doing just as what to do everything they do, except it provides me air and I don't have to go fill it up. Also, all I have to do is keep some lines aboard, and I can run 3 lines off of one hookah system.
And when you get to the end of the line, it says, "Look, dummy, you're past 1 atmosphere."
Also, with inexperienced divers, and if you're a diver, you know what I'm saying, the shorter lines keep you at 1 atmosphere. So therefore, they don't really hurt themselves.
I like that.
That's a good thing. So nonetheless, you'll see, I'll go over the hookah system, how it operates, how it put together, all that good stuff. And then I will go over how you can rig your kayak for fishing. And I don't mean buying a fishing kayak and putting your poles on it. Oh, I put my pole here. I put my hole here. Oh, how about I bought a $40 kayak that had a hole in it. I fixed it. Now what do I do? That's kind of what I'm going to go over. Now, my kayaks are fishing kayaks, but I didn't start out that way. Matter of fact, it was a couple of years before
It was
I
a
bought
$50
one.
kayak that needed fixed.
It had a huge hole in the bottom of it, and it was $50, and it was a Heritage, 13-foot Heritage
Ocean,
sit-in
yeah.
ocean kayak. No, not the ocean kayak. That was not my first one. My first one was the Heritage.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, nonetheless, I'll go over how that and how I rig it for filming. Now, we have a videography business, and I do a lot of filming in different environments and those kind of things. But one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to set and rig up my kayak and her kayak for filming. So I'm going to go over how those are rigged up and how they go together and how they are filming. And we are already at 30 minutes. Holy crap.
So you need to
Carp.
wrap it
Holy
up.
carp.
Carp.
So nonetheless, documentary. I have a project coming up, and it's going to be an extensive project, but hopefully we'll be able to get it fixed before we leave in the next year out of country. And it's a documentary about, I spoke earlier on some other ones, some other videos, guy without telling too much of a story, he lost his hands and his legs because of dog scratches. And I'll go over all that. Nonetheless, it's a documentary about him, how he came through it. During a lot of the fishing stuff, during a lot of the fishing videos that are coming up, we're going to do a how to fish from a kayak, and I'm going to teach Becky how to fish from a kayak. Surprise!
Yay.
And yeah, she didn't know that, but that's
I
one
don't
of the
fish,
things.
by the way.
Because I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to be honest. If I teach her how to catch a fish from a kayak, y'all, I can do it. Anybody out there can do it, and that's going to be awesome. So that'll be fun. How to find fish in skinny waters. Another video I got that I have noted down is how to look for fish in kayaks, in estuaries and those kind of things. How to find fish. I do fairly well at finding fish, although some days I go out, I feel like I'm the worst fisherman in the world. Why am I doing this? I got to possibly give advice, blah, blah, blah. All that is going to be on there, so that's one coming up. And I am going to do a video coming up with how I do my workflow in post, how I edit my stuff, just that, my workflow, my post workflow, how I get from going and doing it to you being able to see it, and so forth. So a whole thing on that. How I'm going to, one of the things that I got a lot of comments about, and I probably should do this one next week. Within the next 2 to 3 weeks, this video will be coming up. One of the things that I got a lot of comments about, and y'all like to argue a lot down in those comments, I can tell you that. But why don't you just get a wider kayak? Why don't you get a heavier kayak? Well, you're too big for a kayak. Why don't you get a canoe? These are all valid questions, don't get me wrong. However, there are reasons for every one of my answers. And I'm going to go over the limitations of designs according to kayak designs. And what I mean by that is...
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, some of this is news to her too. So what I get by that, or what I mean by that is, there are give and take issues when dealing with designing kayaks or designing boats for that matter. And I'll go over all that and why, and it'll explain a little bit about all of those questions and comments and critiques. And here's the big one. I've had a number of people ask me about it. I did a how a large person gets into a kayak. Is my most famous video there is, and I get this a lot. How does a large person get into a sit-in kayak?
So sit-in versus
a sit-in kayak versus a sit-on kayak. Obvious differences when you sit in, when you sit on. However,
what does that mean?
Well, I told you I had to come up with a technique in my video. I told you I had to come up with a technique that I could use that would get me back in my kayak because I was a bigger guy. Way bigger at the time than I am now. But nonetheless, I'm still a big guy. And a lot of you folks are, well, this is me. I weigh this much. I'm this young, this old, whatever. I'm a woman, I'm a man, whatever. And I need to know how I can get in a sitting kayak. So I'm going to go over that. I'll have a video on sitting kayaks, and I might combine that video with my design commentary. So there is that. I haven't decided that yet, but we'll figure that out. And there's a lot of reasons why I don't use sitting kayaks anymore. And it's not a matter of, here's the thing. I love sitting kayaks. I love them. I think they're fantastic. To be honest with you, when used correctly, they're fantastic.
Save it for the video.
Yeah, but save it what?
For the video.
Save it for the video. Apparently I'm giving away too much. Is it possible I might be just talking too much?
You?
I like the gift. I got a gift to gab. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, at this point...
if you have any suggestions,
yeah,
that would be a good one too.
What?
If they have suggestions.
Well, they know to comment below, because if you don't know to comment below, hey, comment below and let us know what you guys want to see. Do you want to see more fishing videos? Do you want to see more sailing stuff? Well, some sailing stuff. You get to see some. What do you guys want to see? And pertaining to fishing, kayaking, sailing, nature stuff like that, we got some underwater. A lot of underwater footage is going to come up, and all that kind of stuff. And I think I've run out of subjects.
I think that's good.
I think I've run out of subjects. So nonetheless, it's been just about 30 minutes, right?
Yeah,
Just about 30 minutes overall. Now, I know it says I got one person on there, so great. If you're watching this out of the live stream, in other words, I'm going to post this on our channel, and if you're watching it in a future date that's not today, so if it's not today,
you can still comment
below and let us know your questions. Let us know what's going on. If you have any questions right now, I see I have a couple of people that are drop in, they drop out. I don't know if they're here, I don't know if they're there. Just
about
whatever.
kayaking,
Yes.
about fishing.
Yeah, throw them down below. Throw them in any of my videos. Because here's the thing. Of course, I get notifications on that. And, well, side note, you hear that? You hear that? It's a bell. It's a bell that goes off every time that we get a new video on the channel. You should be sure to click that. Okay, side note over. Dang, I forgot what I was talking about.
I don't know.
Comment below and let us know what your questions are. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know what you want to know about it. I don't care. How's a Batman get on a sailboat? Maybe one of you want to see that.
Get back on the boat when you fall in the water.
I have done that.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I cracked a couple of ribs
I have
doing
not.
that. Well, you'd have to be working to do it.
And I still
Nonetheless.
laugh when I see it in my mind.
Such a turd. Yeah, I went over like a rag doll like this. Whee!
Yeah.
It was fun. Anyway, it's no joke on the sailboat. But
It
nonetheless,
wasn't funny at the time. It's just funny now.
if there is anybody watching this, thank you for making it this far.
Yes,
if
thank
you're
you.
watching this at a future date, thank you
you.
for watching it, and thank you for your view, and thank you for watching it this far. If you know somebody that might like this later, send them, share this whole thing with them. By all means, please subscribe or think about subscribing. We have a lot of really cool stuff coming up, and if you want to see some more of us, whatever,
Comment. Let us know about you.
yeah, comment, let us know about you. By all means, there's one fellow in particular. I can't wait to meet him. He's in Australia. 'Cause
We'll get
apparently,
there one day.
like 15 or 20% of our fan base is in Australia. I guess they like fat guys in Australia. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, old fat guys. I don't know what they. Maybe they think I'm funny. One guy called me fatty, and I got offensive, and I read the rest of it, and I'm like, oh no, that's just his term for me. That's great.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay. Cheers. So, nonetheless, let us know in the comments below how you thought of this. If you want us to do more live stream. Now, I will tell you, when we get our Patreon, because I'm still working on that, when we get our Patreon going, we will do a lot of live stream with our Patreons. As a matter of fact, it might be one of the biggest things that we do with our Patreons. And I will be doing a lot of live tutorials with our
I was
Patreons.
going to
How
say,
I do
while
this,
you're
how I do
doing
that,
stuff, I'll film you doing it.
and so on and so forth. Exactly. So other than that, I appreciate it. Thank you guys. We appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys do for us. And by all means, I'm just going to put a side note out there. If you are one of those folks that are in nursing or the medical field, EMT, police, if you're a servant to your community, we love you and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We can't say that enough. And by all means, just keep doing what you're doing. You are a blessing to each and every one of us. Other than that, anything?
Nope, that's it.
Ta-da! There you go. Ended. And
It'll be awesome.
go be awesome. I'm looking at the wrong one here. There. Go be awesome. And this is the part where at the end, you see people, what button do I push? Because now I know why. Because there's no button on here to tell you what to push. You have to push this little thing. Bye, guys. Cancel. Cancel.
We canceled it.
I was supposed to cancel it. Cancel. I just stopped this stupid thing.
You're canceling your command.
I don't know.